Meow.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Quest Unplayed. Quest Unplayed is a game podcast where three of us talk about everything and anything about games, and we usually have guests invited to talk about their games as well. I am the co-host of Quest Unplayed, George, and today's podcast is sponsored or joined by Anthony
Hi, everyone.
and Bob.
Hi.
It's actually Zach. We have two guests today, Ali and Mitch. Awesome. Before we start
get
this,
going,
what?
I was going to ask, are you guys in Australia or
Close.
New Zealand.
New Zealand.
New Zealand?
Oh,
Is it
awesome.
cold over there right now?
It's pretty chilly. Yeah.
Oh,
It's not
right.
warm.
It's the opposite weather, right? It's winter there almost.
Oh.
Yeah.
Almost. Yeah.
Because you guys are all both wearing sweatshirts, and Anthony's up here sweating to death.
Yeah.
I'm dying right now.
It's pretty.
All right, sorry. Go ahead, George. I'm sorry. I didn't mean
Yeah,
to
it's
stop.
fine. Before we start,
Awesome.
this podcast is sponsored by Minimap, your ultimate gaming hub and a gaming companion app. Sync your game accounts, make your game collection, connect with other gamers in our community, enjoy our content, and just do basically anything and everything related to games. And we
Whatever
have
you
the
wanna do.
sponsor video now.
Oh, yeah. You guys wait till the end. That's the cliffhanger that. I just
Minimap, your ultimate gaming hub. Yay! So that was
that
the
last line hit so hard.
Love it.
Thank you. I tried my best.
You did good. Don't you ever downplay that.
Thank you so much. So how is everyone doing today?
Doing good. Doing good. Yeah. It is a bit chilly, but staying warm. How about you guys?
It's raining here in Korea, so it's very humid and hot. So yeah, it's gonna be a rainy season starting today. I guess it's gonna rain for the whole week, so that's fun.
Yay.
Yay!
That sounds fun.
Yeah, I know. I was being sarcastic, but
Sounds like a good
I'm sorry.
time. Yeah.
I'm dying.
Okay. Yeah.
I think I'm under the sun right now.
It's always like that in Texas. The only time it's cold is when it's in my soul.
Aw.
Oh,
Because I'm dead inside. That's why I'm saying.
all right. How are you, Ellie?
good. Yeah, a little bit chilly, but I prefer cold weather over really hot weather.
Awesome.
So,
So,
I agree.
are you guys in the same area, like neighborhood, or is it like the same?
We're in the same house. Like she's she's in another room. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
yeah.
That's even better.
Good upload speed.
Oh.
You're
Yeah.
Great.
Awesome.
Um,
So if one of the screens kind of got cut, you can kind of rush to the other.
I just rushed to the other.
Yeah.
So we're fine. We've got 2 chances on this.
That's better.
Yeah, it's just awkward to fit the two of us sort of in the same area when we're both trying to speak.
Okay.
One of us will be like cut off halfway, so it's
Right.
easier. And I normally work here. My work desk is actually behind Mitch there, but I prefer to work here.
Oh, that second computer.
You
All
got
right,
some
all right.
space.
Ah, nice.
Awesome.
I kind of dig it.
I know,
honestly.
right?
I feel like if you ever make a business like more than just you two, just stay at the house. Everybody just
Yeah.
move.
Oh
all
yeah,
their computers in there.
Yeah, hire
Everyone
someone.
find a corner.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
get
yeah.
off on a corner somewhere.
Well, then you have to start,
Like-
out of your paycheck, start paying our rent too. So benefits.
That's
Like,
perfect.
hey, how come you put me next to the stove? Like, just don't touch it. It'll be fine.
Could you guys tell us a little bit about yourselves and about your game, Teeto?
Sure. So we're Eat Pant Games, with our super serious name. So that consists of just Ali and I. So I'm mostly dev. She's mostly design and production and stuff. But together we basically wear all of the hats. And while this is our debut game under the studio that we're working on, for the past 9 years, Ali and I have been running like a digital agency sort of creative studio called Maggle, another super great name, which kind of like partners with other creative agencies and studios in New Zealand. So we develop a whole bunch of like interactive experiences, like AR, VR stuff, installations, things from museums, and a whole bunch of random things. So we've been doing that for, 19 years or something at this point.
It'll be 10 years this year.
10 years this year. Yeah. So, and then we sort of just started our own studio like the start of last year because we've been working with like game engine stuff for ages, and then finally decided to make a proper game with it. So it was a long time coming, but it's been super sweet. So yeah. So Teeto, it's like a 3D adventure platformer. You play as a tiny blob and bunny duo, on this big crazy journey. It's like a collectathon, so you go around, you find stuff, you collect it, you punch other things in the face, all the things you want to do in life. It's both single player and co-op because Ali and I are just suckers for co-op games, and that's basically all we play at this point. And yeah, I guess the whole thing of the game is that he can Teeto, the little gelatinous blob guy, can absorb things from the environment. So you can jump into a flower and you become a flower, and you can sort of get these grappling vines. You can become fire, and then you can melt things. You can become trash or a couch, just because, obviously we're a super serious game, and we're just letting you live out your childhood dreams of becoming furniture. So we're just really, we're really doing that one for the community. But yeah, so that's what we've been working on for the past since January last year, so about a year and a half at this point. And it's been a massive journey. Like if you saw the game where it was like a year ago, it's been, we've learned a lot over the time just in terms of game development, but everything else sort of surrounding that. So learning about how to talk to people about your game and market it, and all the business side of everything, and applying for funding and talking to publishers and all of that super fun stuff is just all things with just knowledge that we've just tried to very quickly just jam in our heads over the past year or so. So it's been a big journey so far, but it's not over yet, I suppose.
Wow, that's awesome. So Teeto is basically like a Kirby kind of thing,
Yeah. So it's pretty similar to Kirby in terms of just like I think Kirby like swallows and becomes sort of different things. So it's definitely got similarities there. Like, and I sort of grew up like a big Nintendo head, so I'm definitely inspired by all of those type of games. It's kind of like Kirby and Super Mario 64 had a weird sort of love child,
I like it. It's a very attractive love child.
Because we have a big Kirby fan here.
Who?
I don't know.
It's me. Stop it. Stop.
Whoever's wearing a pink headphone because it's Kirby color.
Love that.
Do you want to tell us a
Very
little about
manly,
yourself,
though.
Ali, too?
Yeah, so I've been, working like the same, just like working with Mitch on this game since January last year. And yeah, just mainly doing like the creative side, like the characters, the story, the level design. You know, we're pretty silly people, so yeah, it's when you play the demo, you'll realize that a lot of stuff is pretty silly because we like to lean into it a little bit, like to lean into like the funny. You know, it doesn't take itself too seriously. So a lot of us has been like poured into a lot of the actual game design itself. A lot of the games obviously we love to play have been like big inspirations. And yeah, so and this is not as much of a pivot as I thought it was going to be from our, you know, other work stuff, but it has been and because Mitch and I have worked together for a really long time now, that we've got a good balance between tasks and getting things done and keeping each other motivated, because you know, you sort of hit those hurdles where you like reach a milestone, you're like, yes, we've got to this point, and then it's like a little bit fun. It's like, okay, on to the next milestone now, because it doesn't stop. You've got to just keep working on it.
Keep
And
on.
yeah, and it's been really, really fun. I want to say it's been like, oh no, it's been really, really hard. And there have been some hard moments, but it's been really, really fun. It's been really enjoyable. And it keeps getting better, if I'm totally honest. Like the more we get through all of the production stuff that we're getting through, it's just, yeah, it really is lots of fun.
Awesome. That's a very good vibe from.
So you're saying you enjoy working with Mitch? That's what I'm hearing.
I'm enjoying working on the game. No, I enjoy
and Spike and working with me. Yeah.
Yeah, no. I enjoy working with Mitch. I enjoy being able to sort of like set our own tasks, like, because everything needs to be done at some point, but I like being able to set it, and between us I think we have really good momentum. So yeah, and it is really fun. It's just kind of enjoyable, and yeah.
It's awesome.
All right,
time.
I'm hired. I'm coming over.
Welcome.
That sounds like a really cool studio to work in.
I'm good at cooking. I can fight cats.
That's enough said. I don't care if you can make games or anything. The cooking's
I'm not good at cooking at all.
I have good ideas like once every month. Just once though, and then after that it's
once every podcast.
Every now and again I'll say that. I'll be like, I'll come up with a really good idea with like, but it might be the 100th idea. Because I was like, you know, when you're overdue for a good idea, they come seldomly, but they're really good.
Right.
Do you ever get those ideas at the worst random times? I always feel like I get mine, like, I'll be like ready for bed. I'll be like, oh God. And I'll be looking around for a notepad or something. Like, I got to write this down.
I think the thing that Mitch would agree is the worst bit is when I have an idea after we've implemented something that took a long time. And it's like infinitely better. And we've spent a really long time like perfecting something, and then I'm like, oh, we could do this instead. And it's you know, some of the tasty treats we've like obviously put into the game, and then some of them will be saved for subsequent games, I think, because they're good ideas but just take too much time. So yeah,
it's the constant battle against scope creep, you know, which is probably the biggest sort of enemy for game devs, especially smaller game devs, where we just have like a ton of cool ideas but none of the time and resources to actually make it happen if we want to release this thing, you know.
True.
And ideally we don't want to be sort of making the game for the next 10 years, but we'll see.
Better be an awesome game. You're like, you do it 10 years, like, let's just publish it. I can't do this anymore.
So yeah, are you guys ready to take the gamer type quiz?
Still
Do it.
Oh.
Do it. All right.
You can do it.
First question. It's finally the weekend after a long, tiring week. Do you ask a friend to play a video game together, or do you need to spend quality time alone?
Oh, it's together, Mitch.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. It'd be weird if we had different answers for this. Yeah.
Ooh.
The new game that just released isn't my type, but a friend is urging me to play it. It's not my cup of tea, so I refuse at first, but it would be fun to play together. Or do you listen to your friend's words and play together right away?
Oh, we've got to play together. You got to hear them out, right? Like,
yeah.
And then if it's not your thing after you've tried it, that's fine. But you've got to be able to try it first.
Okay. Yeah.
I like that.
I like that. I like that mentality. Okay, awesome. Next question. You are thinking about joining a community with strict terms to get get game information. From self-introduction to attendance check, it's too much, or it has good information, so getting ranked up after 3 days is not a problem.
Ooh. Yeah, I guess it depends how strict, right? Like, whatever. If it has good information, then sure, right? Let's go with the second one. But generally, like, I don't know. If they make it too hard, then I'll just remain ignorant for the rest of my life and never have that information.
Right. I think some subreddits, they usually have you have to have certain karma in order to kind of start posting or doing stuff, and and also Facebook groups, they ask you to do a lot of questions and stuff. So next question. Before buying a game, you carefully read over other people's reviews, watch the trailers, check the price, or if the game looks interesting, you trust your instinct and make a purchase.
Ooh. Definitely not carefully. I don't carefully read over the other reviews. I will check reviews though before but it's more like a scroll through, be like, oh yeah, like general. But if the game, if it looks good and it interests me, I'll probably just go for it.
Okay.
I think very rarely do we end up buying a game like day of or anything. I think personally, I always end up coming to games a bit later, just for time reasons. But like, it also gives it a good chance to. If I hear if it's really bad, then I don't have to. Other people can sort of like be the lab rat and sort of test that. Like I've only just started playing Expedition 33, so and people generally seem to think that's pretty good. So I'll let everyone else do the testing for me. So like while I don't carefully read over other reviews, I think
they influence our decisions. I think other people talking about a game that they like, I'll be like, oh yeah, I'll check it out, which is more likely than if I come across a game like organically. I might
be skeptical.
I mean, maybe for a second, I don't know. I'm also easily persuaded. Like advertisements work on me like a charm.
So if the game looks interesting, okay, you trust.
You're like, I don't know, it doesn't have good reviews, but did you see that trailer?
Yeah. I mean, that being said as well, like developers we know, like their day one purchase, regardless of whether their game's good or not, I will buy it and play it and support it and stuff anyway. I think so. There is that.
Oh, that sounds familiar.
Mark release dates and calendars just to make sure that we're like there right at the beginning. Make sure we get and often if we know them, they've got good games. Like-minded people releasing good games, so we'll buy them, play them.
Are you saying that you've got like if we follow your suggestions, we're definitely going to find some good stuff?
I hope so.
Okay, I'm just gonna go.
All right. Well, looking at that wish list later.
Next question. If someone is watching me playing a game from behind, it's the perfect opportunity to show my amazing gameplay, or I'm actually good at it, but due to the pressure, I am missing skill shots.
I feel like I need a third option. I need a third option where I'm never actually good at it.
Okay.
But I hate playing in front of. It depends on the game. I think if it's something like I don't know, if it requires like a lot of sort of like technical prowess or whatever. Like anyone watching me play Rocket League, I'll be infinitely worse if someone else is watching.
You're like,
go away.
Yeah. Trust me, I'm really good, but
it always happens. So in front of your friends.
I mean, I do recall one time with Rocket League, Mitch like saved like a screen recording of in game because I missed this like really good shot. So he recorded to make sure everyone watched it later.
No one cared. No one cared. Yeah.
Dang.
That's
brutal.
Yeah, but it's fun. It's fun though. It's fun. Next question. You're playing a newly released game for the first time. Rather than having regrets later on about missing something, you go over the tutorials, or the game seems to be similar to the one you've played before, so you skip the tutorial.
Skip the tutorials. I always bash through everything. Like, and it's hard. Ooh. It's also hard as a game dev as well. Like when we're doing tutorials, and stuff like that, because as a player, I just smash on through. Like, I don't watch a lot of cutscenes usually. I just I don't play it like a lot of the tutorials. I just try and bash my way through. And you know, I'll probably end up having to Google something later because I wasn't listening and didn't know. But there's definitely like a juxtaposition between how I am as a player and how I'm trying to be as a developer in terms of, because you've got to be able to sort of onboard people right, but just knowing that if I was playing this game,
We're skippers. We're
I would
skippers.
skip
So
it, yeah.
like, we expect people to skip.
So it's hard to design for. I think.
You're like, no, they're gonna skip this part of the game. It's okay.
Cutscenes as well. I'm really terrible. Skip right through. Play a game several times and I've missed the whole story.
Yeah, sometimes, I mean, when I try to play Monster Hunter Wilds, I just skipped every single cutscenes. It's like, I just want to fight the monster.
You guys want to fight the monster? I'm like, well, you should know some things, but okay.
I'm normally quite forgiving though. Like if I don't understand something, I'm like, I've done this to myself though. Like I've jumped right in.
I think
and I know
most gamers have got to be that honest. Like, you know, this is my fault. So
yeah, you can't skip all the cutscenes and be like, oh, the story was bad. I didn't understand it. I'm like, well, that's, you know, it's because you missed out. It's your own fault.
I've done that on games that have huge cutscenes though. Like if it gets too far, I'm like, skip, and people are like, you're missing the story. I'm like, I know, but it's so long.
We were like that with recently with Split Fiction. Like I love that game and it's great, but like the cutscenes it started to like build up and we're sort of just like, we've got X amount of time to play this game. I don't want to spend a lot of it just watching it, you know? And I'm sure the cutscenes are really good and I'll watch them one day maybe. But we just wanted to play the game, you know?
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Next question. You are playing a mystery solving game, and based on your years of experience in mystery solving games, that guy is the culprit, or that person looks suspicious, but you need to start collecting evidence first.
Ooh, I'm definitely a wild accuser without collecting any evidence.
Oh, I love it.
You're blaming somebody on Clue the minute Clue starts. You're like, it was him. You're like,
it's just vibes alone, you know. It's the person you most medium suspect, right?
Yeah.
It's Colonel Mustard. Are you sure? I'm sure.
It's the first one. So basically,
Awesome.
Yeah,
just wild accusation.
I like that term. Wild accuser. Next question. In order to equip the rune that increases defense by 0.01%, you have to return to the lobby. That's not a big difference. My friends are waiting, so I just go, or you tell them to wait. You go back to the lobby to equip the rune.
Ooh, probably the first one. I mean, I'm not really like a min-maxer, I suppose, in games. And it just seems too low a percentage, you know? Give me 10% or give me death.
Oh gosh. Next question. During gameplay, your companion's character has been bitten by a zombie. You might be able to find the cure, so you decide to accompany them, or everyone in your group can get infected, so you choose to kill them even though it is tragic.
Ooh.
This is always an
Tough
interesting
choice.
one.
Yeah, this is always a tough one.
Nah, I'm number one. I don't know why.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of things are funner with, you know. I mean, you've got to look out for everyone, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Just
Okay.
Sure. Number one.
Yeah.
Or you take them all the way up to 99% and then you kill them just to show them what it was like. You know?
That's a way to do it too. Like, next question. Even if I don't express it, I feel like you keep losing because of your friend. Are they not feeling well? You lift up your friend's spirits, or you send them a link to the character's tips and tricks and suggest that gameplay.
It's cold-hearted.
Definitely number one, I think. Yeah, I mean, once again, it probably depends on the game, and but I guess I'm not a super competitive gamer as well. So, I mean, in most cases, I'll probably be the friend, you know, that's causing the player to lose. So yeah, I would like my spirits lifted up, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
That's all you gotta say is
games are more fun together. I don't know. And
100%.
I've got
True.
a weird amount of patience, I think, when it comes to, because not really competitive gamers. If I was, maybe it would be different, but not really. So it's more I'm playing the game with a friend. So
Okay. You're just having fun. Doesn't matter.
I
if
feel
you
like
win or
even
not.
if you are competitive, it's more fun with friends, even
Yeah.
if you lose.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, for sure.
That's true.
Yeah. Next question. The character has bad performance, but the appearance is totally your type. Considering the balance of your party, you cannot put them in your party, or you have to put your favorite character in the party, no matter the cost.
Or you've got to have the look. You've got to have the look, right? It's got to be good to look at. Like, it might be, and you might die all the time, but at least it'll be a fashionable death.
Fashionable death. I like that. I like
Gotta
that.
go out looking good.
yeah, I was actually gonna say one, but I'll let you sway me on that one because that's a compelling argument.
Yeah. Fashionable
not?
death. Okay. Your current desktop is messy with tons of icons, but it does not affect my gameplay, or you hate chaotic things. Your desktop is neatly cleaned.
Messy.
Messy.
Yeah.
Messy with like spurts of like cleaning everything up. And then I'm like,
no. In my defense, I know where everything is.
Yeah.
organized
But would
chaos.
somebody else be able to sort of like take on my form and know what was going on? No.
Yeah.
That's fine because I know where everything is.
Okay, that's
all matters.
yeah, it all matters. Next question. Before getting into the game, I searched the internet just in case I end up missing achievements, or you have never played a game for the achievements.
Oh, I would never research before going in. I think I'd go in blind, and then like achievements is something that I would try to chase after a game is done, or at least when I'm sort of like halfway through it, I can start figuring out, to not miss things. If it's one of those games where it allows you to sort of go back and 100% things.
Yeah, achievements are like a cherry on the top for me. Yeah.
Okay. How many achievements does Teeto have, or will he have?
Probably a whole bunch. There'll be a whole bunch of like really silly ones too, and like Easter eggs. I think.
I love that.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have to have some mixture between like some are like just basic ones or serious ones, but like you have to have some funny ones in between.
Yeah,
like-
you need those things for people to feel like sense of achievement with things on top of just the achievements they get, the designated ones in the game, I suppose. But
Right.
on top of that, you want to have a sense of achievement, and that's the difference. I think when you're developing something, you're not making it for yourself; you're making it for other people as well. So trying to be a little bit more diverse and considerate.
Awesome.
I like that.
I like that. Last question. You who happen to play lots of games, you play a game you feel like playing at the moment from your collection, or you have a gaming schedule on when to beat a certain game.
No schedule. No.
Schedule.
Definitely in the moment where we've got time. Like we've got like a toddler, so we work around her schedule.
Around the toddler.
And yeah, so whenever we get a moment, basically that's when we can sort of have time to jump into games and stuff.
Okay.
But yeah.
Does toddler ever come in like a boss, like off of Office or something with like a sippy cup, like you guys doing good in here?
Oh yeah, no, it's
sometimes.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's her universe. We live in it.
So you guys are a chatty bard. Am I talking too much? Let's see. I wonder how the developers came up with the name of the cat monster. Curious about a lot of things that are not related to the game itself. Hey, let's have a competition in who kills the most monsters. I gather friends to open game competitions. You talk way too much during voice chat. You don't care how much this skin or that costume is. I am buying it. You don't always get mad, but if you do, you have gone too far, my friend. While I'm having a blast playing everyone now and then, just stop and think, wait, what am I even doing? I'm very popular amongst people, but I also get hurt. You can have this sword. I don't need it anyways.
Oh, nice. That's probably quite accurate.
Okay.
Yeah. Except for the costume, I don't.
Oh, okay.
I don't.
Yeah.
But that's probably Mitch when he's like, oh, like I choose fashion.
Yeah. But what was it? The fashionable death.
Somebody
Yeah.
wants it.
Yeah.
Well, it's okay. I'll
Mitch will
say
bring
this: whenever a main character is boring looking, I'm automatically like, okay.
Yeah. That's
I guess
true.
I'll
Which
try.
why I spend so long in the character creation. Like if a game has like a character creator at the start, before I've even played the game, I'll sink a couple hours into that. Like it took a while to start playing Baldur's Gate because you just sit there and be like, you're just changing every little detail. You're like, okay, I'm finally happy with that, and then you don't have time to actually play the game.
And then do you care what your
true.
character looks like in game though? Because I don't
because
care.
I mean,
Yeah.
you make all these like really tiny details. You're like, just move his like nose up a little bit, perfect. And then you go into the game and your camera's far back and you can barely see their face.
Yeah.
But you'll know.
I think the only time I actually would be like concerned about it is if it's like a multiplayer. Like if other people are seeing it, I wanted to be like,
you don't want to
that's
be
my
judged.
dude. Yeah, that's
true.
my dude. They're like, okay, buddy, nobody cares. I'm like, I care. Looks like
I'm
Kirby.
taking pride in my appearance. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Either you make your character look so weird that like it stands out, or looks so like, I don't know, good looking, and like people just want to copy it sometimes.
I always try to make characters that look
That's
uncomfortably weird.
Yeah, I mean it's
Like,
funny sometimes.
What's happening here? And I'm like, don't worry about it. Just let this happen.
Oh, like some of the old games with the character creators, you could like take things to extremes, like make their head like crazy big and like really tiny arms and stuff like that. It's just like some crazy beast of a person, and you just walk around and like breaking the game just by walking.
And everyone remembers you because of your character. Like, oh, that one dude who has like
there's that guy.
Head.
I think it's really funny when you do something like really absurd, but then like just when other people mention it, pretend you don't realize.
Yeah.
Like if you're
you meant to do it, you're like, no, man, what are you talking about?
Yeah, or you don't realize. My favorite one is like the tiny eyes, like when your character has really tiny eyes, and then I was just like, oh, like it looks really weird. It's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. This is really normal. I'm like, no, it just looks really odd. And you're like,
this is actually how my real eyes look. That's what you tell them.
Are you sure? This is normal, right?
Yeah.
You just like start crying, like I did it because I have tiny eyes.
Tiny eyes.
Yeah, stop making fun of my character. Thank you for taking the gamer type quiz. It says you guys like party games. I think it feels.
Oh, we do, yeah.
Oh yeah, we do.
That's good.
Totally.
All right.
Like the party, man.
Yeah, I think it's time for us to jump into the bulletin board Waypoint. This is where we talk about the weekly game news. And this week we have just one news. We'll just cover one news because we want to talk a lot more about Teeto and you guys. But the Mindseye studio obviously they're not having a good time. I know that for sure. They might do some layoffs, right, Anthony?
Yeah, they're having Concord time.
Oh god, it's
always
always
that
bad.
bad.
It's always a bad.
That bad.
Yeah, I mean, Mindseye was. I know for sure it was like one of the most anticipated games, especially for like for June, for sure. And also like the studio head was like an ex-director or producer of GTA series, so that also had a lot of hype going on, and also. The trailer itself kind of looked like a version of GTA as well, because they have like a lot of gun shooting and racing and all that. But I heard that there's a lot of problems with optimization. The story, it feels like the game is like half finished. It feels like a lot of people said, and then the price of it is not like $20 or anything. It's like, how much is it? Like, is it $40?
69 or something. 59.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna look how much
angry.
it is.
Yeah, just to make sure.
That's out of my budget.
And that's their first game also, so you have to keep that in mind too.
$59.99, but still, that's a huge.
Yeah,
they
mostly negative on Steam, so yeah, having a rough time.
They were having a rough time.
Yeah, I mean they are. Have you seen? It's mostly the optimization problem. Like the AI characters are not moving, or they're just standing still. And like they're like floating in the sky.
Oh god!
It really calls into question like a lot of like, I mean these are like what I assume like a lot bigger studios than ours, right? And then like what are their processes in terms of? I mean, like you see so many of these games, probably not to the extent of this like being so bad, but like a lot of games coming out and they're like there's only so much QA you can do, right? Like regardless of how much stuff you do internally, you put it out into the world and someone will find something. But like the fact that all of these like problems are so prevalent and like everyone's having them, like surely this was known, and it could it come down to just knowingly releasing something just because like they have to get it out because they don't have budget to work on it for another 6 months or anything like that, or they have all these higher ups that they need to your shareholders and all these other people that they need to they need to see this game released now.
That's probably why.
Yeah,
I think sometimes the people that make the timelines, like the production and the timelines, aren't necessarily the creatives. The creatives and the programmers and like everyone who's like, they've got their heart and soul in it, they're working like their absolute best. They would have infinity to work on it if they could, because that's, when you're making anything, like you want, like even once you release something, you're like, I could have made that better. But then if somebody else is making those timelines, like that's how you reach those kind of, those points where, well, something has to happen. And so, it's not a breakdown of one thing, it's a lot of little things. And ultimately it has to be, ultimately someone has to make the move. Either they have to delay or they have to like push forward, but ultimately it's just I think everybody at the heart of it wants it to be the best it can be, and these are things that happen around them that if everyone
it's
had
so
input time.
it seems like in most cases like something like that is impossible to come back from. Like obviously we know with like Concord and all that stuff, and you feel like I feel sorry for the devs, like regardless of I mean all these people get like a lot of hate anyway, but like probably the actual people, the developers working on it is probably a bit undeserved, and I mean they end up losing their jobs and stuff anyway, which is super sad and horrible. But well, I mean, I guess with things like this, like it should be known that like you release something like this bad, like it's so. I feel like Mindseye, it's like something like this. It seems impossible to come back from. Like I know, like No Man's Sky when that released, like that got pretty like poor sort of like reviews, and people like felt like they over promised a lot of stuff and definitely under delivered. But that has made like a crazy turnaround in terms of like the developers just continuing to work on that to the point like I think they're still working on it and just releasing like free updates to it, and it's like and that's amazing, right? Like that type of stuff. So it just shows that I guess technically you can sort of like turn that ship around. But I guess with something like this, then if we're looking at like layoffs and stuff and studio closings potentially and all this other stuff, then that could just spell the end of it, and something that potentially could have been avoided if they were able to push things out, so that they could at least have someone test it beforehand.
And that's and then and that kind of, remember how you're talking about kind of like the publishers like getting out. I think a lot of happened with No Man's Sky is that Sony wanted him to put it out quicker, and they did. Thankfully, when Sony released them from the contract, most people noticed all of a sudden the game got a lot better out of nowhere. So that's crazy. But you feel for them because you got to feel like they probably put a lot. I'm looking at the project right now, and it looks very like there's a lot. It almost feels like they might have went too hard for the first game. I don't know if it's like their very, very first game, but
definitely ambitious.
Well,
it's very ambitious.
That's the publisher is IO Interactive, the people behind Hitman.
But when you click on their publisher, all it's got is this game for it, though.
Yeah, well, I think that's with the layoff. I think the publisher is basically cutting all contact with them.
Probably. I mean,
because when you click on IO Interactive Partner AS, it literally is just their game. Same with their thing as well.
So it is probably one of their studios, like their sub studios, but so that's the reason why they're getting layoff is the higher ups is pushing them off because they had that because like you said, someone has to get blamed basically.
Ugh.
So they need like a sheep goat.
Yeah.
Poor guys.
Yeah. I do feel for like everyone really in this scenario though, because like I think there is this weird wall between like developers and like players. Like
Yeah.
the player should have an expectation that when they spend their money and more importantly their time, like anyone who dedicates time to playing something that we've made is like that's more of an investment in my opinion than just monetary. But then like there's all these different intricacies that can happen, but there's this weird wall. It's the same with people with like content creators and things like that. They have high expectations, they should have high expectations, but some players can have a very very high expectation and it can sway a lot of other people that were sort of on the fence, like, oh,
Actually,
maybe we'll see how this goes. And I think that is like a one where I've seen it to be able to be turned around is one where the players have lots of trust because the development team or like the publishers
yeah.
are like being quite open with how the feedback. They're like, okay, we've taken your feedback, and we're going to make it better. We're going to make it better, instead of hiding a little bit behind that. So I think it is, yeah, on both sides. But it must be hard to have blind criticism thrown at you when you're not really a decision maker, when you're just a developer or a creator.
Yeah, like the individual devs probably don't deserve it. Like they're probably realistically like seem talented. Like the trailer looks really good and all that stuff, and like what they've made like looks cool at least from trailers. But like you just hear the reviews in terms of obviously performance and stuff like that, and I think it seems like they're most likely just victims of like either mismanagement or something coming from like higher up or anything like that.
Yeah.
Or I mean, obviously we could just speculate, but I just do feel for the individual devs because that they will probably just work to the bone. For this, and it must suck to be like working on so hard on something, and then put it out and it's just crushing, right?
Yeah. Like because like you mentioned, well, sorry, Jeff. Like you mentioned, a lot of the review bounds were from press and content creators, YouTubers, streamers. Like they review bombed it, like because they had the access to the game way before it went to the public. So and it was like very bad. Like I think the Metacritic was like 2.2.
Oh,
wow.
2.1.
That's really.
So it's like dead on arrival, basically, right?
Yeah.
Basically.
But then there's like a specific audience that might jump on that like the negativity, like riding the negativity train, and like you see
100%.
on some subreddits where like some people's like, oh, I really like this game, and then there's like a comment that links to something that's like maybe they don't like about the game, and next thing there's like there's like a sway, and then all of a sudden people are like, oh yeah, I didn't like this as well, I didn't like this. And I think it's just some people aren't having a good time. I mean, a bad game's a bad game, a buggy game's a buggy game, but
I think the developers didn't know it was a bad game because I remember I saw this one clip video from this one streamer who who's like a sponsor, who's being sponsored by the publisher, and he was supposed to have paid to do a first look gameplay with the creative director from Mindseye, but as soon as he presses going live and start the stream, his agent calls in the creative director, cancel appointments, and can I come there?
And also they canceled the whole stream because
they canceled the whole stream.
the whole stream. Like as soon as he was about to start streaming, and then he just gets like a text or email from his like agent or something saying like this whole thing's canceled. And I also saw one of the videos where like this guy was streaming, and also he's probably sponsored by the Mindseye, and then he was playing, and then he was trying to like show where to buy the game, and he like kind of just like laughed because he was just like so like the game itself was like really bad, and he had to kind of show where to buy the game, and he was like straight off like laughing like he just couldn't hold his laugh, and just that was really really bad.
The marketing was very bad.
I totally agree with all of you, like because like developers probably knew like not every single developer, but like most of the developers probably knew that the game wasn't finished, and they probably wanted to spend more time and polishing before they release it. But like they had no choice because they're not the ones making the decision. They're basically the ones just getting paid for the work they do, and they can't just like, oh, let's just delay the game. So they just had to do it, and this is not the expectations or anything they really did. So
Yeah.
it's pretty sad.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I just hope
Yay, indie teams.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's the cool thing about like that's why like it's really like it's so much easier to support tiny indies, right? Because like I mean, smaller teams will generally be a lot more transparent about things. Like I like follow a lot of other studios who literally just post captures from their development for years as they're working and stuff, so exactly where they're at, and there's no kind of like I don't know, there's no like bullshitting around like what's actually there and what's kind of just like a nice something like drummed up for a trailer. And that's and generally if you talk to them, they'll be happy to tell you about anything,
they'll love to talk about it. They'll love to talk about what's going on. So it's like and
you know what I find is interesting listening to you guys kind of talk about this is you can hear kind of like the developer side of you going, I feel bad for her, but the game sucks. It sucks. Like you can see the player versus dev.
Sure.
Like, I would, it could. Have you ever played a game and you're just like excited? You start playing it, and then the dev side of you's playing, and you're like, oh, but you're just like, oh, they're.
I mean, it's the same type of thing. It's like being a developer is in a way ruined games a bit. Like as a player, wow. The same. Well, I mean, like ruin's probably a bit too far, but I definitely look at it from a different eye. Like, and the same thing because I originally, like, I guess like wanted to be like an animator, right? So like I started like when I went to university and stuff, I wanted to learn how to animate because the dream job was like I want to go to like Pixar or something like that and do animation. So I started learning how to do some 3D animation, all that stuff, and then that made me watch those movies differently because I could no longer just sit and enjoy. I look at it and be like,
you're just picking them apart.
How did they get that skin texture looking so good with like the reflections and stuff like that? Like I couldn't enjoy to the same degree. I mean, it was just harder to sort of turn that bit of my brain off. So, and that's the same with games. I think I'd be like, especially playing games that are so, I guess, like close or like an inspiration for the game that we're working on now would be playing something and I'd be like, oh, they do this. Like, we should do something like that. And Ellie's just like, let's just play. Come on. Like, and I'm just too busy thinking about like what's happening under the hood. So that's a hard thing to sort of switch off as well.
You could be like, or how about we don't and we just play the game?
Exactly.
But I think that is a bit of a war though, because like normally, like, because game devs in general, I think, like, are passionate about games. Like, they're passionate about playing games. So like they're both the like they're a market in themselves. So they are sold to and they sell. So like, it's hard because especially like a small studio, if you see a small studio and they're like, on launch, like if I've played for like, less than 10 minutes and there are some things that are a bit buggy, like my first instinct is like, oh no, like how can we get in contact with them to like let them know so they can like do something about this, because
You're
this
so
is
nice.
like my first, like, I mean, just because you do see it from a different point of view, more. And then I don't know. And then you, even with really big studios, you kind of just, extrapolate that out into this big studio. But like, well, these poor devs, like this poor big team of devs, like they're all just trying really hard.
Oh man, these poor hundreds of people working on this one game. I better call them and let them know.
Like no one, even like a small part in a big machine doesn't want to release something that's not good. Everyone who's working on anything has to have the, like, oh, this is going to be really cool. People are going to really enjoy this. Otherwise, I don't think they'd be making it. I don't think people are out there just to make stuff that people don't enjoy.
Yeah.
They're not, no one, I mean, maybe a very, very small minority is out there just for the cash grab. I think a lot of people just genuinely want cool stuff.
Yeah, and so no, but
So when the when the big machine is sort of like turning and all these things kind of go wrong, it does kind of feel like it's out of your hands, but it's also your responsibility. That's my least favorite predicament to be in, when it is my responsibility to fix, but it is out of my hands, kind of. It's like so yeah, I do feel for it. And as a player, I can see, as a developer and a player, I can see like the effort that's gone into some of these things. It really is like a massive amount of effort, and it should be appreciated. And maybe sometimes I've been desensitized a little bit to how much effort has gone into things, because you're like, oh yeah, this is cool, I've enjoyed it. When you're watching a movie, you're like, oh yeah, this was pretty cool, and then you think about like the thousands of people it took, all the little moving parts to make this thing that you were like, oh yeah, it was all right. Ending sucked, kind of. So
it was whatever. But
I think I mean, I hope they do get things turned around and maybe try to make another No Man's Sky or Cyberpunk situation. But we'll just see what happens to them, and I just hope all the developers kind of don't feel too bad. I mean, don't feel too hurtful, I guess, because
I mean, regardless of the situation, like whether or not it can be turned around, whether or not it can't, like everyone on an individual basis has like a many opportunities ahead of them. So it's like easy to get stuck into this, especially when things are negative, get stuck into the one thing, but it's not the end of everything. There's so much more out there,
Because I mean, it's also interesting looking at like how they PR spin that too, right? Like I know with like Concord and stuff is obviously a good example of like games blowing up. But that one was like you feel for the developers working on that too. But then I guess like from memory, like how they were responding to that criticism initially, almost like it was almost like combative as well, because like people like they're kind of just like, oh, like you're wrong, and then gamers were like, no, we're not wrong, you're wrong, and then it was like, and then that's when you get like a lot of sort of, I guess, review bombing and stuff as well. And I think I saw the Mindseye, was it the CEO of the development studio or something? So I think someone mentioned how like the negative comments or reviews were like paid or some sort of like thing against them rather than, so it's like downplaying the, I guess, the responsibility of like, oh, the game's bad. It's not that the game's necessarily bad. It's that there's like a vendetta against us or something like that. And then that's a tough sell, especially to like to gamers who don't care about that stuff and they just want a good game, So it's interesting to look at how these how studios and publishers and stuff, how they deal with negativity in terms of like how they their communication and stuff with players, because some people handle it differently, and like with the No Man's Sky situation, once they got out from Sony, the communication became like really good, and now he's turned that around and the game's awesome. So it's,
and they're working on another game too that's people are just excited for. I'm one of them.
I think
good to see.
I think it's time to jump onto the companion Waypoint now.
It is.
Yeah. I mean, we've been talking with the devs for a long time, but we just got to talk more about it.
I feel like we already know them.
I know, right? Have we met?
Now we're talking about the game with these guys.
Oh, heck yes. I'm excited to talk about Teeto. But before we do, let's watch the trailer with sound.
Because
sound matters in games.
Sometimes.
It does.
Shh, listen.
A baby Michael, quick, catch him. You are subject T33T0.
Love it.
She's calling my name. Karen, eat me, please.
I have accepted my fate.
Wish list now.
So
Wish
here's my
list.
thing. George is just trying to do voiceovers for everything.
Yeah.
Wish list now.
Wish
I was like,
list
geez. So that voice sounded kind of familiar.
Which one? Because they're all us.
That's what when she first came on and you did it, I was like, "There's the rabbit." But then when I heard the bird, I was like, "Okay, I see who the bird's at now."
Yeah.
We just
Was that
Yeah,
fun doing
just-
voiceovers for your own game?
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
I
I
mean-
think well, you go.
I mean, it's more just like a small team, small budget situation where I'm like, if I can, I will. And then it's just it's a lot of fun. So and it's hard to I don't know. Well, originally I was going to do sort of like the placeholder lines, and then we're going to bring someone else on, and then now I've just recorded heaps and heaps and heaps of stuff, and it's been it's been really fun. I've really enjoyed it. So,
No, yeah, I think
This-
it's kind of cool. You
it's
guys
working.
did the voiceovers.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, because I could see you guys building this game by yourselves, and you're like, "All right, I'm gonna be this character," and you're like, "Well, I want the bird." Like, who's doing the tree? Like, I guess I'll do the tree. But I think that'd be kind of fun. To be honest with you.
Well, I think
Yeah, it's
for the
just-
full game, we wanted to bring in other people as well to do like some more of the NPCs and stuff. Because I mean, there are only so many voices we can do before they all start sounding the same.
So
I think it's
there's
going to become necessary to start pulling in some extra people. But we're sort of
outside of the demo, there's a lot more stuff. There's a lot more talent.
yeah,
but-
totally.
Oh.
We did sort of set this out as sort of like, okay, we'll do this as like a temporary thing, and then we'll figure it out, because we had to kind of just get different like story beats at certain points. So we needed to actually have those recorded to see if they were going to land, see if it was going to be like in situ, was it going to be helpful or not. So with always the plan being to change it down the road, and now there's core ones that we're just not going to change, because we enjoyed doing it so much, and it's been working, so we'll keep it.
Basically your baby then, like another baby, like the game itself is.
Besides the other baby.
Besides the other actual child,
besides-
I
She's
guess
got
that's
some
the make it a
voices
game.
too.
Go away.
Like, the little baby Michael, like little blob things that you collect, like she voices those as well. So we can't
our
really go
daughter
really.
voices those,
Oh, that's
Oh.
a family project.
That's gonna be kind
Love
of
it.
cool to brag about later in life. Like, hey, have you played that game? Yeah, that's me. It's no big
Yeah,
deal.
free child labor.
What was crazy though is when
Yeah.
when she recorded them when she was much younger,
Uh-huh.
and then we've been recording more stuff as she's older, and it's so weird because it's like this like time capsule kind of this like totally different kid at this
That's
totally
true.
different time.
Right.
And we were playing some of the like older recordings as part of the more scenes we were working on at the time, and I was like, she doesn't sound like that at all, like not anymore, that's not her. So we were in a race to record as much stuff as we could at that point in time, because we had a little bit of foresight knowing that she was going to get older. And now, instead of being like, real cute and real like, say this word, and she'll say that word, she'll be like, you'll be like, oh, do you want to do this, like say this line or whatever into the microphone, which she loves doing. She loves like singing and stuff, so she loves the performance of it. But she'll be like barter with you for like something beforehand. She'll be like, okay, well, I want popcorn, and then I'll have some popcorn, and then I'll record
She needs
these
bribes.
lines.
Yeah.
So
She's working. So she's working for. You're giving her popcorn at least. You know,
Yeah.
like
There's something.
She does really, and it is a lot of fun. I mean, I wouldn't expect her to like do something that she wasn't going to. Like, if she doesn't want to, she's 3. So, and 3-year-olds, if they don't want to do something, then it's not going to do it.
Yeah.
So it's not under duress.
Yeah, I can relate. I have a 4-year-old.
say the line.
Yeah. They are their own person, right? So they
Yes.
just
Yeah.
rightly or wrongly.
I'm good. I'm glad you're not shaking the kid down for lines. Like, come on, say it. Like, okay.
Nah, and you simply couldn't. Anyone, like
Yeah,
as
you
with a
can't.
4-year-old,
Yeah.
it's not possible. Like
Yeah.
they can't be coerced. I mean, with snacks,
Yeah.
kinda, but if they don't want to do it, they're not going to do it.
Yeah.
And she does enjoy doing it. If there was a point where she didn't, I mean, we've got most of the stuff recorded, but like if there was a point that she didn't, we just simply wouldn't. So that's an easy decision to be able to make.
I'm wondering if you guys could try to make like a kid voice. Just do your best squeaky voice. Just do your best.
Probably make it work.
Yeah.
I mean, they got honestly.
Just try right now.
Yeah, I would say they got all kinds of voice thingies now, but I think that's super neat that like as a family you all put voices into the game because like imagine you playing this game later down the years when she's even older and you're just like that's your voice. And it's gonna be like as someone who has kids that are like going to college and stuff, you're gonna be like back like I remember when you did the voice of this game. They're like shut up. Put the water.
She's got her hand out. She's like royalties, and we're like,
so about those royalties.
It was used to pay for your college.
Or you know that exuberant amount of popcorn we fed you. That was it.
That's your payment. Yeah.
You actually did sign a contract.
If anyone does get if anyone does get worried about it, she's more than well looked after. She'll be fine, I think.
Okay.
We're not worried. I would think it's funny if you made her sign a contract now.
Yeah, I was about to say that too.
And you put on there playing for popcorn, and she's like, "Wait a minute." Later in the road, she's like, "I signed this. Like it's in your name, crayon, right here."
Yeah. I'm not sure you can get children to sign legal documents, but because wouldn't I have to sign it on her behalf?
Oh,
and should sign it. Should sign it. See, that's the problem. That's the problem.
That's
with
true.
That is very true. So how did Teeto kind of like start? Where did the idea come from? The game itself.
So I guess the beginning of last year, sort of like end of the year before that, we started had an idea that we wanted to make something. We're definitely not to this extent. That wasn't our plan. It was sort of just to play around with just trying to put something together just to make something fun. So it started as kind of like a sandbox for us to learn proper game development and get like a character running around the screen and all that stuff. And then I guess the idea of the little blob guy that was an Ellie thing. So we started to put that together and originally it was I think originally I made him pink. And that was very close to Kirby, and we were sort of infringing. And one of the people that you don't want to take on is Nintendo. When it comes
Nintendo
to
will
stuff,
show up to your doorstep.
I mean, that was true. But if I recall, my issue was, especially with the characters design back then, it looked too much like Patrick Star.
Oh yeah, it was
from
Patrick.
Okay.
And I was like, I think
the shorts too.
Yeah, it was little shorts, and I think I walked in. I think I'd when I made a coffee, and I walk in, and I was like, no, it's Patrick Star. We have to, we have to change it, and but the actual, that was sort of where the idea for that came from, and then we just built on it from there, I guess. We're like, okay, well, what's my motivation as this blob thing, what do I do? We had this whole sandbox thing running with all these different, because for the genre, for the 3D platformers, the movement is the most important, one of the most important things. If it doesn't move very well, then it's not very enjoyable. So we spent a long time working on that specifically, and then other little bits and pieces sort of came along the way, and through lots of feedback as well. Our original demo was very different from how it looks now, and just a small dedicated few people that were like, oh, I think this would be better, or I think you should do this, and then reading them that is a really good idea, let's try it out, send them a build to test, and then they're like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if I could do this? And I'm just like, you got it, and that was much easier to implement then. So
that's awesome. I would have been like, it would be cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And then I guess as we're going, a lot of the inspirations for things came from our daughter as well. The name Teeto is what she called her like bottle of milk. For some reason, we could never figure out why she was saying that or what the reason behind it was. But when we were coming up a name for the character and ultimately the game, like trying to find something unique, like we landed on that. Be like, just call it Teeto. Like, we
So
can Google that and that'll come up with our game and stuff like that. So, and like her comfort toy is a bunny that she still has. Like she's had it since she was like 6 months old or something like that. And carries it around everywhere. So that was the inspiration for the little bunny. So there's like heaps of little things like that were sort of included from like, I guess, our life and just, things that we like or things we find funny just to put in there, as we go. Kind of, it's definitely like a game for us, hopefully for other people too, but definitely like something that we'd enjoy and we find funny and that type of thing, and it does seem to sort of like translate, like other people seem to enjoy it and find it funny too, which is always nice when you're trying to sell something.
That's awesome.
I thought your guys' demo was super fun. So you guys,
glad
kid,
you
and you have
enjoyed
great
it.
taste.
Yeah.
Thank you for playing.
Yeah.
I always
thank you.
love hearing about people playing it. It always makes me really happy when people play it because I'm just like, oh, people want to, play something that we've made, and we have spent. I mean, it's real cool to be like, oh yeah, it's like real easy, like we just made it, but it's been a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of heart that's been put into it. So it is nice, especially when people kind of recognize that. They're just like, oh, I can see that, like a lot of, they love this genre, like, because we love 3D platformers. So they're like, oh, you can tell that they love the genre. And I'm like, we do love the genre. Like all the feedback, positive or negative, has been like crucial for our development, especially being like the first title, just because it is like someone has an opinion on something, and not all feedback is necessarily good feedback. Some stuff you can't implement, like some things are nice to have, but there's a lot of like very dedicated players out there that are just like, they're just dying to tell you how to make it better. So like listening to them is very valuable.
Right.
Yeah. Well, see what happens is Georgia goes, hey, we got this podcast, play this demo or I'll kill you. And I'm like, oh Jesus.
Yeah.
So then I'm like,
And you're still alive, so you must have played.
No, I always go. I every time I'm just like, because I'm doing other stuff. I'm like, all right, what do we got here? And then I saw the cover of it, and I was like, a blob and a bunny. I'm in. I'm like, let's do this. So, and it was really good too. I was like, oh, this is really fun.
Yeah.
So I always tell George later, I'm like, all right, you're safe for this time. Next time.
And you're safe too, apparently, because by order of death.
We're both just 1 second away from mutual destruction. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, well, that's live life on the edge, right?
Yeah.
No, we're pretty much family.
Yeah.
So.
Yes. So it's.
Except for I wasn't invited to the birthday party, but we won't talk about that. Right, Anthony? Were you invited?
Nope, I did not get invited.
Okay. If you guys fly to Korea, I mean, you guys can.
We weren't invited either, by the way.
Yeah, we weren't invited either.
Okay, next year we're all going to be visiting, I don't know, Korea or New Zealand.
I'm literally, what was the date? I'm literally coming. Next time I'm coming.
Yeah, June. It's the same.
It's going to be super awkward, but.
It's the same birthday as Sonic, by the way.
Oh, really?
Sonic's
That's really
birthday.
cool.
Yeah, Sonic.
Okay.
That was on purpose, wasn't it?
No. Yeah, sure. Sure.
It was perfect. It was all planned.
It was all planned, sure. I know biology and how human body works, but anyways, So I think it would feel very kind of emotional, I guess, in a way that people are actually enjoying that something that you guys have created, and it has a lot of meaning to you guys, like the whole family as well. So I think. You guys also have Discord channel as well, so like a lot of feedback you get from there or any other channels that you guys use probably is very crucial. I think all the devs, indie devs, told us, these little feedback is very, very crucial for their development because they can try to figure out like what they think about, what the audiences think about their game, and what they can kind of try to integrate into the game within the feedback as well. So.
Yeah, there's really good data out there that you can sort of like compile to like figure out like exactly what your audience wants and like where to find your audience. But even with all of that sort of like a high level data, what really is impactful is like individuals who you know actually like they take time to do it as well, like feedback forms, all that kind of thing. Every comment on every social post where someone's like, oh, I've got an idea, like that's all like it's valuable and we're listening. So yeah,
I
anything,
think
and
that's
especially in the
super.
Discord.
I think that's super awesome, and I think that it's cool that like a lot of devs, indie devs, especially like you guys are just very open to feedback from people, and it helps you guys make the game. And that a lot of times you could message like Electronic Arts, they're not going to listen to you, or Activision, they don't care, right? But when an indie dev's like, oh, you know what, that was a good idea, thanks for helping, like it brings that kind of community feel together. You know what I mean? So people
Yeah,
invest in
and
your game that invest in you.
yeah, and
True.
I know with like these, like you have like focus groups and stuff with those, like, when they've got big games in development and they take those sort of, close focus groups probably to change things. But
Mhm.
it really, like, I think that goes back to what we were talking about before, where when you are the developer and the decision maker, like you've got this
Mm.
unique, and that's, most indie developers is that you've got this unique position where not only are you the one who's like in control of all the gears that are making everything work, you're also in control of the decisions to get there, so you can make those decisions. I mean,
Mm.
within to a certain degree, like otherwise you'll never release a game if you're just like catering to every individual. But those, especially in early development, those opinions are like, yeah, those
Yeah.
opinions of people, and it's always really kind as well. It's like, hey, by the way, I played this and I encountered this, and you're like, oh, thank you. It's maybe once we've launched and there's more reviews and things like that, it'll be a little bit, because it won't be
Yeah.
everyone's cup of tea either. So, but and we love the game and we love what we're working on and we love that we've like been able to work on it together. But in that same vein, like we have been able to like separate ourselves from it. It's like it's not us. So if people have feedback that isn't favorable to us, like that's fine too, because yeah,
Yeah.
True.
it's not so personal that we would take any of that stuff personally.
No. And that's a it takes, I think, a lot. I mean, when it's yeah, I mean, I think it's just it takes a lot to for anybody to admit that they're like, oh, okay, maybe I could have fixed this, or this could have been better. And so it probably helps you guys a little bit when it comes to anything you do down the road from now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Is there things you've thought about, like if we make another, or if we do a DLC, we should do this instead, or
Yeah, I
100%.
mean, not necessarily
Yeah,
instead, I think, but like we definitely have so many ideas of things that we want to do, but I guess don't necessarily align with the like our wanting to get the game out when it's going to be released type thing. I
or
think,
something could be a good idea, but it's not for this. Like it's a good
Mm,
idea in general, but it doesn't quite fit what we're building, or within the universe or within the actual gameplay. So some of those things, I mean, and I think that's the creative process in general, is that you can be like, oh, I've got this concept and I think this would be cool, and then in reality, once you put it into practice, or once we're like, I don't know, just maybe even like really early stages of some of the level development, just like grey boxing stuff out, and we're like, this is going to be so cool, like we're going to do this, and then we actually put it to practice and it isn't that cool at all. It's like kind of boring.
oh no, you're like,
I
this is gonna
mean,
be
and
dope, and then you do it, and you're like,
and you're like, and then you have to just, and I mean, because you learn by doing as well. So, and
yeah,
then down the line, we've just had to like, if that particular mechanic was going to like be more impactful later on, we've had to like rewrite and do things like that. But I mean, it's all part of a process, and ultimately for the benefit of the game. Like I want the game to be good. I want the game to be enjoyable. I don't want things to be too painful to do, and I don't want. I mean, I just don't want a frustrating game experience either. I've played games that are frustrating. Some games that I feel are frustrating on purpose, and like I just don't complete those games.
We call
I mean,
them
I have already-
controller throwers. I'm sure.
Yeah,
Oh, I paid for this. Set it down.
yeah.
It's $50 controller. Nope.
Nope. Not throwing it.
So yeah, go ahead, Zach.
No, you started. You go first. I
Okay,
was going to say, I just want to tell you that from the demo, I felt that you had challenges in there, but it was, the challenges were like at a good understanding level. Like, I don't think there was anything telling me to turn into fire and melt ice, but I automatically was like, fire, ice, pink thing. Let's do this. And so, I like that you left it open for people to be like, oh, okay, if I do this, it'll happen. But then, kind of give a little hint here and there.
And it is a bit of a fine line in the demo, especially because like the game's designed to get like a little bit of increase in difficulty, so you're rewarded for being able to like do specific things later on. So being able to do that within like the actual demo itself, I was like, well, do we need to be more hand-holdy or not, or do we want it to be a good representation of the full gameplay? And in the end, it's a little bit of a mix. There's some extra like on-screen sort of prompts and things like that we added because of the nature of the way that the demo is. So yeah, like
it's also one of those things that like also like you get feedback from as well. Like, so we're so close to it, we know exactly what to do because we designed it to do that, so like we need like people with fresh eyes to play it and then to tell us really like how intuitive it is, or like whether things require some more sort of like tutorial or onboarding, or whether things maybe, or if we're doing that too much type thing, and that's something you can only kind of like guess from where we're at, because we'll never know, because we know we go into it knowing exactly what you need to do and like where I need to go to, and I guess because part of the game is like you sort of like wants you to explore, sort of like go off the path that you can find hidden things, collectibles and all that stuff. Like that will never 100% work on us because we placed where all those collectibles are. Like we know where everything is, so we can't be surprised by anything. So we kind of, there's definitely like we have to build that constant like feedback, sort of like from players or like play testers or something into the development, so we can make sure whatever we're doing is kind of like hitting what we want, because I mean there's only two of us, so we can't not have someone work on things, just so they can be a tester type thing, maybe down the line.
No, and that's why I mean, like I actually I'm really bad at puzzle games, to be honest with you. Like I struggle very much at them, and that's one thing I noticed like right off the bat is there wasn't as many hints for your game, but you're kind of like that you could suck in fire and become fire, and there's a block of ice with what is that pink stuff called again? Ixium or
like the Vionite thing.
Vionite, there you go, yeah. And then you melt it and you get it, and you're like, this is so like. It makes you feel happy that you can figure out on your own, but it wasn't to the point where you had to be like a rocket scientist. You know what I mean? So I like that. That was I felt happy. Like I felt I accomplished something, but it wasn't too easy, but it wasn't too hard. Like I was like,
oh, that's great. Well, I mean, that's exactly what we're going for. So
yeah,
it's good to know that worked.
Yeah.
It worked on me. I don't know about these two, but I was like, I know Anthony's probably good at puzzle games, but I'm definitely the worst here.
I love puzzle games.
Yeah,
we know you do, Anthony.
All about
we
it.
know.
Yeah,
he's like he's the puzzle guy.
So when are you guys planning to release? Is there like a release date for the game?
So we don't have like a set release date. I mean, we kind of have like a loose one internally, but it'll be like, I can tell you now, it'll be released sort of like next year.
Nice.
I guess we're currently talking with publishers and stuff, so we're trying to sort of make some sort of like sort of headway there, and then that'll become a decision. Sort of with them.
It's not. It's maybe not a
stuff like that.
It's maybe not a decision for us to make right now, even though we know when it's going to be finished, but like we don't want to like preemptively say any of that stuff when it's like a relationship sort of thing to agree on to fit in with those schedules. So yeah.
Nice. And is there any publishers like locally in New Zealand? I'm sure there is, but
Not. I mean, there's we've got like a handful of like game development studios. No, we don't really have many sort of like at all like sort of publishers that are like just solely publishers where they take on other games and publish them and stuff like that. I think.
Yeah, Mitch is underselling a little bit. There's some very, very, very talented studios.
There's
in
a
New
lot
Zealand.
of talented game development studios here. Like we got Dredge made here and all that stuff. Abiotic Factor made here.
Dredge's my favorite.
Heaps of really cool games come out of New Zealand. Like surprisingly, to the point like I didn't know some of the stuff was like made in New Zealand. You know, so like we're definitely like hitting out some bangers. So it'd be cool to sort of join that list.
But no, we are talking to international publishers.
okay.
And we had an opportunity in March because there's been a handful that we've been talking to for a while now, and we got opportunities to meet them when we went to GDC in San Francisco in March. So now we're in that phase now where we're sort of like, okay, well, because there's lots of different types of publishers. I didn't know when we got into this. There's all these different types, and with all these different sort of like opportunities, and finding the right publisher for Teeto has been like not complicated, but it's been it's been a learning experience. So yeah, and that kind of really has to happen internationally. New Zealand is really quite small.
No, yeah, it's kind of cool to hear that you guys, how you said that there's, you get like there's, and we know that we talked to a lot of game devs, but it's kind of cool to hear a game dev say, you know, there's publishers for certain types of games, and you just find that right publisher for your game is a challenge in itself, I'm guessing, right?
Oh, definitely, because I mean, like it's more than just us being like, oh, let's accept a whole bunch of cash and then here you go, market it or something. Like we want to be able to work with someone that shares our passion for like the genre, for the type of game, that actually like likes our game and gets excited about it and those type of things. So I think that's something that's important to us when we're talking to these publishers that we want out of a relationship to, like on top of the money and marketing and stuff. But like it's not
just the alignment with the game. Like I wasn't super naive. I was like, oh, we need to find someone that the genre fits, right? Like it'll fit really well within their catalog. Like this is the type of game that this publisher specializes in, but also a publisher, like a studio publisher relationship, because you're going to be working so closely with them. Like it has to be one that is good for all parties. And there are some publishers that are very, very good at what they do, but they're potentially not a good fit for us as a studio. So
even just personally, like getting on, like talking to like the reps or the scouts or the people from the studio, like pretty like quickly if the vibes are right. If we can get on and we can have like conversations, if you can kind of like if you get and match our humor and stuff like that, I think a lot of those things like personally are like quite important as well, because like Ali said, you are going to be working with them very closely for the remainder of the development. You want to be on the same page, and you don't want to be sort of like I don't want the remainder of like the development to be like a stepping on eggshells, and we're sort of like we don't really know how to talk to each other, and there's kind of like a disconnect there, So, and we're lucky because some of the publishers that we've been talking to, like we've gotten on really well with. So, seems pretty promising there.
I haven't met a person yet that I've been like, oh, like they weren't very nice. Like everyone we've met has been really, really lovely and really good at what they do, but it's finding that right fit.
Yeah,
sometimes it's not a perfect fit.
Yeah, because I know. I mean that developer publisher relationship is very, very important, because I know I've talked to some indie devs. They're like, they've talked to some publishers, and then they were about to take the deal, but then they realized that the publisher, like the person who was in charge, didn't even play their game at all, and they were just like talk about like all these kind of deals and all the numbers and stuff, and then they realized this is not the right relationship that you have, because once they need to share that same passion, and like in order to go to the same direction, obviously, because they're not just people who just like throws money and like, oh, make this game and we'll just market it however, and then we'll just take the money that you guys make and share the profit or whatever. It's not that anymore, at least for now. So
Yeah, well, like, because
it's a business decision. It's a business decision, but it is also like a personal decision because it is going to be like the relationship is going to be make or break based on that communication. Like, and you know, a publisher has expectations, like the developer has expectations, and if you can't agree on some of those more like if you can't agree on some of the more smaller stuff, it's more like a wider issue for and you don't want it to be tense, you don't want it to be, you know, because we are an ideal situation is that a developer works with a publisher and everyone is like, yeah, like we're all passionate about this, it's all going to do excellent, and then everyone gets along, everyone's working towards the same goal, and then it is magic at the end. Where, you know, it is a red flag, I think, if you're talking to a publisher and the person that you're talking to hasn't played your game.
Yeah, that's
true.
Red flag.
Very problematically, very early on, when we hadn't got very far, but we'd been approached by a couple of like publishers, and we were like, oh, we'll see what these talks look like to sort of brief us on what the experience was going to be like. One of the ones we spoke to, not once did they mention the game, like during the meeting. They were talking about like the services they offer, and it's all, you know, all services that yes we were looking for, but they didn't want to talk about the game. They didn't talk about what we were doing with the game, and I was like, okay, well, we'll just leave that conversation there. And again, they probably are really good at what they do. Their services probably are really good, but you know, if you don't want if you're not going to know what the game is, then it's not a good fit for us because we are so small. We're so small and we are working really hard on this. So we need someone, maybe not even match our passion, just like have enough passion for at least the genre, for at least, you know, like the players that we want to target. Like I want to work with a publisher that is passionate about their, you know, their target markets too. And they want to do right by them, I think.
Yeah, that's I love that answer. Because it's your baby. It's your baby. It's a business decision at the same time. So having that chemistry is going to be make or break.
Yeah, and in business you have to make hard decisions. So I want to be able to make hard decisions with someone who
cares.
You know, who cares about what the fallout of those decisions are? Because you have to make some unpopular choices sometimes. I think, especially in indie development, to make it all happen, to keep the lights on, to actually launch the game. It is a whole process, and any person that does it, any person that like releases a game deserves like their own little medal, right? Because they've worked really hard on that. So it is like nice when you can see like a small dev team like get some recognition, like people love the game, and it's like it personally for me, I really enjoy it. I love seeing like a small dedicated team get recognition, get lots of people playing, lots of copies sold, then they can go and make another one. Love that.
That's dope.
That is very dope.
Yeah. So what would you tell people if they're watching this about wanting to, you know, get this demo?
Sorry?
What would you tell people about if they're watching this and they're like, that game sounds dope? What would you tell them about the demo? Or what would you say to persuade them to play the game?
If you like 3D platformers in general, I think you'll really enjoy it. Yeah, play it. Basically,
play it. I mean, it's not difficult. I think like it's definitely an easy game to get into. Like so, if you grew up playing Spyro or Crash Bandicoot or Banjo-Kazooie or any of those Super Mario, any of those games, A Hat in Time, just jump into it because it's like you're gonna love it. And if you don't, just don't tell me about it because you'll hurt my feelings.
No, to counter that, if you don't like it, you've got a free license to hit us up and tell us personally that you didn't like it. I'll happily take it.
But you have to tell them why.
With some criticism.
Tell us how to make it better at least.
Yeah, constructive feedback is always welcome.
Yes, you got to tell them why.
Well, if I had not have played your demo for this podcast and just played it, I wouldn't have thought just two people made it. So I thought it was that I hands down thought the controls and everything like that, and the characters and everything, the gameplay was that polished that it had to be. You know what I mean? Like no, when we talk, whenever we see devs, or usually we can like I think the largest team was probably like besides Mint Rocket, Toge. I don't know, but
Is that a large team?
Toge?
I think
Compared to
Toge
the other
and Mint
ones,
Rocket are
maybe.
probably two big ones. Mint Rocket has like 70, 60, 70 people, I think I know. I mean, they're not all into development, but they're like, business and all that. But Toge also probably has in the range of like 20, 30, I don't know, at least minimum, I would say.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's usually like, I think the maximum number was like 5 people or working on like one
for
game.
small.
So we know that it's never going to be a team that's usually more than 5 or so. So,
Yeah.
but I don't know. Did you guys, when you guys played it, did you feel like the game was like as polished as I thought it was? I was like, this is really well put together.
Yeah, I mean,
I felt that 64 Kirby type vibe, and I was like, the gameplay felt really, I thought smooth.
Yeah.
Well,
I played some demos before, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing right now, but they got a little work to do. But this one was pretty good. I mean, I thought it was really good, honestly.
Oh, thank
thanks.
you.
I appreciate it.
It's great to hear that. I mean, we're trying, and we did spend quite a bit of time early on, like trying to get the controls as good as possible, and it is actually still a bit of a work in progress as well, because there's other mechanics that we're working on that might shift how we do things if it feels better to do something. Like it just has to be fluid. It has to not be clunky. I want it to be a positive gameplay experience, not a frustrating one. So, and if it is frustrating, we need to change things.
Yeah.
So.
And constructive feedback, please.
And I liked how close he was. I liked that there was a little bit of Kirby in him. I'm gonna tell you that much right now.
Yeah. Awesome.
I was like, woo!
I think it's kind of time to wrap things up. Do you guys have anything you want to tell to the people or the fans who have already played it, or people who want to play it? You kind of said it already.
So, I mean, if you haven't played it yet, definitely go out and play the demo. And if you have played it and you enjoyed it, like, join our Discord and like you'll follow us on social media and all that stuff, and just be a part of the journey of us making it. Like, let's work together to make it as good as it can be. And anyone who's played it or checked it out, like, thanks. Like, it means so much.
I thought it was dope.
Don't forget to wishlist it, guys.
Wish list.
Wish list. Anthony wanted to ask, but he didn't. Is there going to be a plushie or anything?
There has to be. There has to be.
There has to be.
Yeah. And we're trying to look into the technology of having the plushie also be able to turn into other material like you can in the game, but I think it might end up being something that's too expensive.
Awesome.
So
I got you, Anthony.
Just a regular plushie.
I mean, I'm just going to overcommit. I'm going to overcommit, and I'm going to say that even if it like doesn't happen commercially, I'll do a limited run of plushies.
Yeah.
She'll be sitting at home knitting this like little thing.
Hey, I think those are super cute though. Those little knitted things were so. I was like,
crochet. I'm going to have to learn how to crochet.
Yeah. But the first one goes to your toddler though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, probably. I mean,
it might be a very limited run though. Yeah. Like there's like 4.
The lucky 4 people.
And all of a sudden, Anthony's gonna come on here like, "Hey guys, look what I got! What a 4!" We're like, God, Anthony, come on, man.
I mean, if I was to do a very, very limited run of them, there are a couple of like early Discord members that joined our Discord real early on. Like they've been so good and like finding bugs and doing stuff and just like real dedicated and like reaching out for things. So like, I mean, if I learn how to crochet, and then I learn how to crochet some little blob dude, we'll make it happen. We'll make it happen. Maybe after launch I'll have time. Maybe.
I love that.
Yeah.
We could probably get a lot more done if we just make it Play-Doh. Just slap some blobs together, throw it in an envelope. We've got the Play-Doh. We've got a kit.
I don't know if anybody's done that before, so you may be the first. Like,
there's probably a good reason no one's done that before.
If I receive a lump of dried up, let's assume by that point, Play-Doh in the mail, I'll assume it's a threat. So maybe.
Oh gosh!
Put on the bag. Do not eat.
Yeah.
Do not eat this Play-Doh.
Like
But-
I've helped this like indie dev like make the game as good as possible, and they've sent me a lump of dry like Play-Doh in an envelope.
If you did,
yeah.
if they had a good sense of humor, I think it would be hilarious. Like,
Yeah.
thanks for whatever this is, but I was hoping for I was hoping for a plushie, but it's cool, I guess.
Nah,
Yeah,
I'm negative reviewing that game.
Or
Review.
or you could do that thing where people make this slime for kids and then just ziplock it in a bag and draw a face on it.
Oh, there you go.
That's good.
Yeah, that's
Because then
another
it can
idea.
kind of change forms. Yeah, that's good. I'll look into the intricacies of sending slime via mail.
Yeah.
International mail. Imagine.
Yeah, that's gonna
Yeah.
be.
Is it still gonna be slime? I don't know, but
Yeah.
Actually, I think I got slimed the other time for some game in the mail.
Yeah.
really?
He's gonna show it off.
my
Later.
kids
Find it.
all when they were younger made slime at home, so it's like actually pretty cool to see. So you can throw
There
all
is,
your own.
yeah.
stuff in
There's
there.
actually a slime home kit you could do. That's how they do it.
Oh,
It's like-
that's an idea.
We actually did
It's-
it straight up, like glue and stuff.
It's glue. It's glue and something else.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure there's.
Yeah.
I
was a
didn't do
big-
it. My wife did it, so I don't know the recipe. But
None of
But
the rest-
I've heard about it. I'm sure another like toddler parent has told me like, oh, you should make slime. And then I think I love her, but our daughter is she's chaotic. So she's not ready for slime actually.
Yeah.
She's-
look what I made! Slimes everywhere. Like sweet.
Yeah.
She's ready for Play-Doh in a heavy supervised area. She's not ready for homemade slime just
Okay.
yet.
Just get her. Well, it might be bad for your feet, but just get her into some Legos first. You know, maybe the big.
Oh,
ones.
she loves Lego. Absolutely loves Lego.
All right, Legos
Yeah.
are dope. Yeah.
Awesome. But yeah, thank you guys for coming to the podcast. We really enjoy talking with you guys.
100%.
I hope the game is gonna be great. I think. Just go wish
I hope
this to
so.
everyone.
You
Yeah.
think?
Yeah.
You
I
think?
expect-
It's gonna
I
be
think it
great.
might be.
I know.
Yeah.
The next
Sounds a bit more
Astrobot.
sort of like, yeah.
He doesn't know yet. He can't commit to it. He's like he
True,
thinks
yeah,
it's
so
like
you-
open to a
Playing
Okay,
it
it's-
safe because you don't want to say it's going to be great and then we put out. a
You
stinker,
liked it.
You
I know
Yeah.
George liked it.
So Teeto is gonna be the next Astrobot.
Okay, don't say that.
Confirmed.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, thanks
yeah.
so much for chatting to us. It's been really
Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
We
it's
loved
so
it.
fun.
We loved it. I really loved it.
Also, if you guys like, when it's close to release, we could kind of re-invite you guys and talk about the game more. Like by then, you probably have more time because you guys are all finished with the development and all that. So that's
That'd be
good.
super
Yeah.
cool.
That's really fun.
And we'll
Definitely.
have plushies, right? At
Yeah.
that point.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, we have to
Plushies.
come with plushies or something.
That'd be
yeah.
awesome.
We'll send you
we're-
guys plushies.
We're always constantly looking for physical stuff for Anthony here because he's actually got like a game museum in his house. So
Yeah. Basically. Yeah.
Basically.
Everything you can
See him look
imagine
around.
that's turned into a physical stuff, Anthony has it. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
One
so-
envelope of Play-Doh coming your way.
Oh. That's awesome.
I'm
But,
a little jealous now. Where's my envelope of Play-Doh?
Oh, everyone gets an envelope of Play-Doh
I'll get
Yay!
it with a Play-Doh.
at your own risk.
Okay, at my own risk. But thank you guys for coming, and I will see you two next week, and hope to see you around. Ali and Bitch, thank you.
All right. Thanks for having
thanks
us.
so
Nice.
much.
Thank
for
you.
coming on.
Wishlist everyone,
Wow.
Teeto. Teeto.
Wish list.
We always make friends and say goodbye.
That's life.
Because my heart can't handle this. I can't do this podcast much longer.
Don't
It
worry.
takes too much out of me.
You'll survive.
No, Anthony, you don't know.